Liverpool 1, Nottingham Forest 1, and Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. In today's video, I'm going to break down what we learned from both of those games. We're going to start by talking about Liverpool in the first half of this video and then talk about the Chelsea game in the second half of this video. But before I get into that, I do want to quickly touch upon the Chelsea game and just say what an entertaining game that was from a neutral perspective. Chelsea were unbelievable in the first half. I don't know what happened in the second half, but Bournemouth are a quality side with some quality players. But Reece James, what a free kick. If he stays fit, what a player Chelsea have. And I thought Lavia was really, really good for Chelsea today as well. There are two players that Chelsea have that are top players, but they just need to stay fit. But we're going to start by talking about the Liverpool game. Now, I still think Liverpool are going to win the Premier League, but I'm seeing Liverpool fans melting down online saying if they play like that, they're not going to win the league, la-di-da, la-di-da. Give some credit to Forest. Forest are second in the league for a reason. Forest are unbelievable this season. And tactically, yes, they sat back, they hit you on the counter-attack. Nuno got it spot on, but don't underestimate how good that Forest side is. And a draw away to Forest, it isn't a bad result when you're probably, yes, let me see where you are in the league. Got the table here. Look, you're 6 points clear in the league with a game in hand. If Arsenal win, you are then 4 points clear. You're 4 points clear with a game in hand, but that game in hand can put you to potentially 7 points clear. So with better goal difference, you're still comfortably ahead. And I'm going to be honest, Arsenal don't look good. Arsenal are not catching you. Like, they're not. Unless they go out and sign some world-class attacker, they're not catching you. And Chelsea can't get points, and City can't get points. And what, as good as Forest are, maybe they'll do a Leicester, maybe Forest are your biggest threat right now. Maybe Newcastle your biggest threat right now, because Arsenal, Chelsea, and City, they're not. So I still think Liverpool fans, because I see Liverpool fans crying they're not going to win the league, they don't deserve to win the league, getting really angry at this performance. And I get it. The first half wasn't good enough for Liverpool. It took until the last 30 minutes for Liverpool to show that fight and desire and really go for it when Diogo Jota came on. But let's be honest, Liverpool could have won that game on another day. If Jota had come on maybe 10 minutes earlier, I don't know. 4 big chances to Forest has won, 1.95. Let's be honest, Forest, were very clinical on the counter-attack and they defended unbelievably well. We'll give credit to Forest. That was their game plan. You give Forest absolute credit for defending that well. Sells. What a performance. But it wasn't like an awful performance from Liverpool. It was one where they just didn't do enough in the first half. They came out in the second half. Again, Ipswich, they didn't do enough in the first half. Brighton didn't do enough in the first half. Southampton had to turn it around. There's a lot of times this season where Liverpool have made it more difficult for themselves. And, I think there's a negativity around Liverpool because of the points dropped to Manchester United, because of the loss to Tottenham. But, I always joke, Man United, if they put Liverpool in a fall-off again. But I'm saying this as a Man United fan, I think Liverpool will be fine. I think they'll be fine. I unfortunately think they're going to win the league. But Forest, unbelievable. Hudson-Odoi, big fan of him. Alanga, obviously, massive fan of him. Chris Wood cannot stop scoring. Gibbs-White, top player. Murillo and Milenkovic have been an unbelievable pairing. Williams had a really good game. Aine has been unbelievable this season. Sells has been fantastic. But Elliot Anderson was one of my standout players today for Nottingham Forest. I really like him, his ball carrying, his powerfulness, because, that Liverpool midfield has probably been the best in the league this season. In terms of Liverpool, Salah had a very, very quiet game. But the thing with Salah is people say, do you take Salah off or not? Salah's that kind of guy where he can have a crap game, but then he can go and win you that game and get that goal. So while part of me thinks, Slot should maybe put Chiesa on and take Salah off, like he looks tired, the other part of me goes, well, if someone's going to win that game and find you that winner to make it 2-1, it's going to be Salah. Gravenberch I thought was excellent. The way he slipped in the centre back, I thought he was excellent. Diaz didn't have his best game. Jota coming on obviously made a big difference. False line wasn't working. I think when there's not the kind of space and you're playing against that kind of low block, I thought Diaz started well in false line, first 10 minutes, drawing them out. But when Forest went 1-0 up, it played to their advantage a little bit. But let me give you my general thoughts on Liverpool, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on Chelsea, and then I will touch upon Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth, because I think they've got some unbelievable players, and I do want to talk about some players that have impressed me. And I'll tell you what, they've got players that would be good at Liverpool, good at Chelsea, good at Arsenal, good at Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? Forest, Murillo, Milenkovic, Sells, unbelievable. That trio was unbelievable. That save, I think it was Gakpo, where there was a deflection and it bounced in front of the keeper. Don't underestimate how good of a save that was, because that could have been the winner. And Cody Gakpo has been really clutch this season, where he's been coming up with those goals to equalise or give Liverpool a winning game. So I thought that was the moment. And I think on another day, Cody Gakpo scored scores that and Liverpool win 2-1, and Liverpool fans are ecstatic that they're 9 points clear at the top of the league. Do you know what I mean? But what saving? What a defensive performance from Forest too. Were well coached off the ball. They made it difficult for Liverpool. And frustrated them. But I thought Liverpool actually started well. People will say, what do you mean? I'm talking first 10 minutes. I thought Liverpool should have been first 10 minutes. I thought Diaz looked quite lively. But then Forest scored. And when Forest scored, that was the game plan. If Liverpool had gone 1-0 up, Liverpool could have won that game maybe 2-0, maybe 3-0. It could have, if Liverpool had gone 1-0 up within 20 minutes, it could have been a different game. Because Forest was thinking, go 1-0 up, and that is it. Like they did at Anfield. If Liverpool had gone 1-0 up, I think it's a very different game. So when Forest go 1-0 up, you give Forest what they want, and they sit there. They're one of the most defensively hard-working, drilled sides, and they made it incredibly difficult for Liverpool. Arne Slot, what subs, what impacts? We talk about Slot in terms of a manager that clearly is making a big impact in subs. You know, some of the decisions he's made in the second half of games, tactical changes, is probably one of the biggest reasons Liverpool are top of the league, because I think Slot's been a lot more adaptable than an Arteta and a Pep in terms of he will change his tactics at half time if it's not working, or if there's people going man to man in the press and it's not working, he will change that. He'll do these tweaks. And you could question not bringing on Chiesa and Elliott. I'm going to touch upon that in a second. But the sub, boom. You know, you're taking a centre back off. It's risky. Boom, assist, goal. I don't know if that's happened in the league before. It was unbelievable. In 30 seconds of coming on. You know, and Jota's so clutch. And Jota could have got 2 or 3. He was really getting in there. His movement was causing problems. And I think Jota should have played more of that game. I think, and I said this before the game, not publicly, obviously, because I said it to myself, to my stepdad. I said, Jota's probably more suited to this game than Diaz, because if you're gonna not have much space and you just need someone to just convert whatever chances you get, Jota is that guy. And I think he probably should have started today. I understand he's coming back from injury, you've got to manage his minutes, but that was a game which has, you know, Diogo Jota all over it. That's what he's made for, because he's someone that can do a lot with little. I think and I thought he made a massive difference today. Part of me says, did Liverpool get complacent? I think Forest, the attitude and energy and everything they gave in that first half was unbelievable. I don't know if it's tiredness from Liverpool. I don't know if it's complacency. But there was elements in that first half where I felt the Forest wanted it more. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But yeah, I have to say, no Elliott and Chiesa sub surprised me, especially with how good Chiesa was at the weekend. I get not taking Salah off. I 100% get not taking Salah off, because even though he was poor today and he wasn't great in the last game, you know, he had an opportunity there where he hit it over and he had another shot. He's that guy that he could be crap, but he can win you the game. And Man United have had that with Bruno Fernandes. Like, do you take Bruno Fernandes off? Do you not? But I think Chiesa, the fresh legs, the energy, how eager he would have been to make an impact, I think could have been a substitution. Maybe you look at Diaz. Well, Diaz came off for Curtis Jones, but maybe you look at Chiesa. And maybe you look at Harvey Elliott, because he's quite good at breaking down low blocks. He's a bit quicker on the ball than Curtis Jones. But I thought Curtis Jones was bright and had a good cameo. But look, I don't think Liverpool fans need to be too worried. I don't think there needs to be a massive meltdown from Liverpool fans. And I agree with this tweet I saw. Again, like I said before during the match, there's no need to be overly negative over a drop point today. Forest are flying. They have tons of confidence. They're unique. They're uniquely suited to playing against us. We have to build momentum for the second half of this season, and tonight helps us do that. IMO. I think one of the reasons that some Liverpool fans are melting down is because last season you were on top of the world, you dropped points to Man United, and then you sort of just fell off. I don't think that's going to happen at this case. I think there was a lot shown versus Forest, and I think, you know, if you know, Arsenal fans would say they deserve to win. When Arsenal fans draw games like this, they always say they deserve to win. I'm going to give Forest credit for defending really well, but yeah, like Liverpool on another day could win that game. It's just they didn't come out enough. They waited to the 60th minute to come out. That was the problem. But you're still quite comfortable ahead. You've had your most difficult patch. I don't think Arsenal are going to catch you. Forest are unbelievable, but Liverpool have that quality on top of Forest. Maybe the Champions League tires Liverpool. Who knows? Chelsea unbeaten, haven't won in 5. City, they're not good. They're still not good. Like, just because they won 2 games. And Newcastle is probably the biggest threat right now after Forest. Anyway, let's continue on. Individual players, Jota, man of the match, the goal, the hunger, the desire. That's what he brought. Salah, poor game, but he's human. People getting on Salah's back. He's human. Just, do you know what I mean? Like, he's going to have a bad game here and there. Gravenberch I thought did really well. I thought Alexis McAllister had a decent game as well, but Gravenberch stepping into the centre-back role, very mature, keeping the ball well, playing out from the back well. Liverpool dominated possession and Gravenberch was keeping it ticking and carrying and passing, doing his job. Trent got a bit stick, but I actually thought he was really creating stuff, particularly in that second half, and I felt that Trent was going to make something happen in that game. He didn't, but I felt like if someone was going to, it was going to be Trent. And I thought the last 30 minutes Liverpool were good, but they were not good enough for the opening 16 minutes. And what I really take from this game is Arne Slot clearly needs a bit of backing. He hasn't had backing because Chiesa didn't even bring on. He hasn't had backing, and I think as good as Gravenberch is and as fantastic as he is, he likes Ender. Ender's an unbelievable player, but he doesn't take Gravenberch off for Ender or rest Gravenberch. And I think they need that extra midfielder so they can at least rest a Gravenberch here and there, or he needs to play Endo a bit more in these sort of games. I think striker could be needed, but I think that's a summer thing. There's more options there. Left back's going to be needed to replace Robertson, and another centre back for depth is clearly going to be needed. But I'm surprised, Suleiman to Arsenal. Maybe Suleiman wanted Arsenal. I'm surprised Liverpool aren't acting on that. But I want to give shout out to Forest. I saw Doogie tweet this and I completely agreed. Elliot Anderson picking up the ball in any situation and make it at least 20 metres. Elliot Anderson, one of my favourite players to watch, ball carrying, mobility, fantastic player. And I thought that Forest, Anderson, Gibbs-White, Chris Wood, as Doogie said here, they all complement each other well. The defence is solid. Aina's a good player. Alanga's a good player. Callum Hudson-Odoi is a good player. Forest have done really well in their recruitment. Now let's talk about Chelsea because I'm 11 minutes into the video and I've not touched upon Chelsea and I've just realised this could be a long video. But again, Chelsea did enough to win the game. Like Liverpool did, Chelsea did enough to win the game. Chelsea should have been 2-0 up at half-time and the game could have been done and dusted. They could have seen it out. And this is the third or fourth time in the last 6 or 7 games where Chelsea could be 2-0 up, comfortable, really good opening 30 minutes, and they drop points. And it's like, you had the opportunity to win the game. You're comfortable, you're dominant. I thought that first half display from Chelsea, I said that's going to bite them if they don't win that game because they could have been 3-0 up. I'd never seen a team actually be able to carve Bournemouth open like that and create that much space. But the second half, Bournemouth, the quality came out. It showed Iriola, the way he adapted, fair play to him. And Bournemouth were excellent in that second half, and Chelsea just didn't look at it in the second half. And this seems to be a common occurrence. There's got to be questions over the game management at Chelsea. But the momentum shifted. Now, Palmer had a good game. He was up for it. He was willing for it. And if Nicholas Jackson just had the ruthlessness in front of goal, the finishing, he would have had a good game, but he should have scored today. Nicholas Jackson's all-round play, the assist, the dropping, the link-up, the connection and understanding he has with Cole Palmer is excellent. But he's just not ruthless enough in front of goal when you need him. And when Chelsea are creating those chances, you need a bit more from him. Reece James, what a player. Unbelievable baller. If he could stay fit, top player. Lavia, I thought was excellent. I think he brings stability. I think he's good on the ball. I think he's unbelievable in tight spaces under the press, able to break up play. Unbelievable player. I thought Lavia was excellent. And people were giving him a bit of stick for the goal on that, but I think Lavia, top player. I thought Sancho looked really good. I didn't see that Sancho at Man United. Sancho was direct, taking on players, creating space, creating chances, looking like he was going to make things happen. Haven't seen that Sancho at Manchester United. But Chelsea are wasteful. In the first half, they're winning the duels, they're carrying the ball, they're creating space, they're opening up Bournemouth. I don't know if it's Chelsea don't have the fitness, if they're dropping off in the second half, it's a mentality thing. But as soon as momentum goes against Chelsea and they concede, they fall off a bit. They're flying, they're unbelievable. They don't capitalise on it, capitulation. And I thought, yes, to be fair to Chelsea, Bournemouth, very lucky to have 11 players on the pitch. Let's be honest, ref did not do Chelsea any favours today. Bournemouth should have probably gone down to 10 men. But Chelsea were wasteful. They should have done more in the first half, and they shouldn't have let the game slip in the second half. I look at Chelsea, right centre-back is what they need. Goalkeeper, Sanchez just isn't good enough. And I think a ruthless striker finisher is the 3 additions that they need. Whether they'll do anything in January, I'm not sure. But Reece James makes everything look easy. Unbelievable free kick. I think he bailed Maresca out because I think if Chelsea lost that game, it'd have been sour and it would have been a bad move. But I think Reece James getting a point versus Bournemouth that are an unbelievable team, by the way, fantastic team. Do not underestimate them. They're sixth in the league or 7th. I don't know where they are, but they're up there for a reason. I support Man United. They tore us apart. Kirkes, Semenyo, Cliver, Evan Nilsson. I've got some unbelievable players, Bournemouth. I haven't even touched upon Huijsen. That's a really good talent as well. Unbelievable players, they had some really good games, but I thought there were some good performances from Chelsea. But I think Maresca needs to make subs earlier. Could Felix have come on earlier? I don't think Maresca trusts your squad. I don't think Maresca trusts your bench enough. And they are his players. And he needs to trust them more, like João Felix, and Kruger didn't come on. I think he could be on the way out. But I thought Lavia had a good game. I thought Sancho had a good game. I thought James had a good game. I thought Palmer had a good game. I actually think Colwell had a good game. And I think Josh, the youngster, looked impressive. I think Tosson did well when he came on, made a really good block. And I think just Chelsea's game management needs to improve. Is their mentality thing there, with the squad being young, with the squad being raw? Because when you guys were second, the Chelsea players were like, we're not in tight race, we're not in tight race, we're not in tight race, which is fine. The expectation was you were never going to be in the tight race. But that mentality to instantly shoot down the tight race. So if you drop off, is this excuse okay? Do you know what I mean? I think there's maybe a naivety or a youngness in the squad. There's a management thing there, because the quality is there in Chelsea. There's some unbelievable players, and they're doing enough to win these games. They could have won 3 of the last 5 games that they've dropped points in easily. They could have, but they drop off in the second half, or they don't do this or they don't do that. I don't know if it's a mentality thing. And players like Cucurella and Caicedo that have had unbelievable seasons. Cucurella, fantastic this season. He's reborn under Maresca. Caicedo, for the last 12 months, has been one of the best DMs in the league. You could even argue best. I mean, he's up there with Gravenberch. He's unbelievable. But they looked off it today, and they're 2 top players, but they really looked off it today. I thought there was a few players just off their game today, like Madueke. Just don't really remember him. Sancho was lively, but Madueke was quite. Could he have come off earlier? Is Maresca taking too long to make those subs? But I want to give a shout out to a Bournemouth player in Semenyo here. I said this: Semenyo, what a player, a ball carrier, pace, power, and real athleticism. His ability to drive at defenders and create his outstanding athleticism, monstrous kind of player, powerful. I said he's a clever player in terms of movement, linking up with teammates, and I want him at United. I think he'd do well under Amrin in the wing back with the carrying, but I think his abilities in the pockets, he'd be good in the 10s. I think Semenyo will. I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle look at him potentially for right wing. I think Arsenal could do with him as well. But I want to say this about the Premier League: the level this season, Newcastle and Villa pushing Europe. Bournemouth are up there. Brentford got one of the best attacks, and Bremo, Vissa. Brighton have some top players. Fulham look really, really good this season. And then Forest are just on another level. The level of quality in the Premier League this season is unbelievable. Some of these teams that aren't big teams doing unbelievable. Newcastle, Villa, Forest, Bournemouth, unbelievable this season. Brighton and Fulham have looked good at times. Brentford have an unbelievable attack. There's so much quality in the Premier League, and I think every game is so difficult. So while Liverpool have dropped points today and Chelsea have dropped points, well, you know, Man City have dropped points and Arsenal keep dropping points and Spurs and United can't get anything going. And it just shows you just the level in the Premier League. And people are going to drop points, and it's not going to be, you know, it's going to be interesting how this race develops. But last but not least, these were my notes on Lavia. Press resistant, can receive the ball at any angle, find the space, pick a pass, unbelievable on the ball. I think he brings defensive stability. He's a bit better defensively than Enzo. I don't think he should have come off, but I understand it with the yellow card. Unbelievable on the ball. Stable player, small space player, but can cover ground, that can do the off the ball work, win the duels, be the athletic guy. Been really good in those games, like the Manchester City game at the beginning of the season. He's played in those big games and been really good. And I think Lavia and Reece James are 2 players that if they stay fit, it will make a massive difference to Chelsea's season this year because they're top level players. Thank you for watching today's video. Bye.